Welcome to the Floor and Deck Framing Plan Check course. Whether you are a plan reviewer, building official, permit technician, third-party reviewer, or a design professional transitioning into plan review responsibilities, this course was built for you. The conventional Floor and Deck Framing Plan Review course is the third module in a 4-module series that also includes the conventional Roof Framing Plan Check module, the Wall and Foundation Framing Plan Check module, and the Wall Bracing Plan Check module. This training series is intended to deliver a top-notch learning experience that is centered on the structural plan review of wood-framed residential structures according to the adopted state residential codes that are based on the International Residential Code. Nearly all states in the United States have adopted the International Residential Code developed by the International Code Council. This module, along with the other modules in this series, may be used to provide continuing education units that are required by the International Code Council as well as various professional organizations and government agencies. The development of this course was guided by the assumption that the primary reason you are considering taking this course is to acquire the ability to perform a thorough and reliable structural plan review of residential floor framing systems and verify that the submitted drawings comply with the provisions of the International Residential Code. We have also considered that you may not have any training as a civil or structural engineer. Therefore, we have spared no effort to ensure that this course has the capacity to help you achieve the objectives that brought you here. The good news is that while the plan review process may appear overwhelming at first due to the number of code provisions involved, a disciplined and structured methodology can transform the process into a manageable and repeatable professional task. The plan review process for floors and decks begins after the reviewer has determined the weights of the elements that are supported by the floor framing members. The structural design of floors and decks consists of the development of a system of structural elements to resist gravity loads such as dead loads and live loads as well as lateral loads including wind loads and seismic loads. We start by breaking down the intricacies of floor loading, where we will walk you through the critical floor loading requirements outlined in the residential building codes. Additionally, we will show you the resources outside the code that you can use to determine loadings and verify that design loads do not exceed the limits in the code. We will then dive into the heart of floor framing, where we will embark on a thorough and extremely rigorous exploration on the code provisions for the design and construction of floor joists and their supports and the design of floor sheathing and the associated floor sheathing attachment requirements. Additionally, we will go all in on raised floors and consider the requirements for both vented and unvented crawl spaces as well as the requirements for underfloor spaces below the base flood elevation in flood hazard areas. We will also take apart the code requirements for the construction of slabs on grade and consider all requirements including grade preparation, vapor barrier requirements, and the thickness of the slab. Finally, we will dedicate 2 sections of this module to exhaustively cover deck framing requirements, where we will cover the review of deck joists, decking, deck beams, deck posts and deck foundations, guard rails, and the lateral force resisting elements at the deck such as deck ties. You will learn how these elements work together to create a safe, sturdy structure, and how to verify that the design and specification of each component meets minimum code requirements. This course is intended to provide you with a comprehensive exposure to the knowledge, insight, and systematic review skills necessary to perform structural code compliance reviews with confidence, consistency, and professional clarity. In professional practice, the plan reviewer is routinely confronted with an enormous variability in style, layout, and design integrity when reviewing plans prepared by different designers. This variability introduces uncertainty and demands a disciplined approach that does not rely on assumptions or familiarity with individual drafting styles. A successful plan review process must therefore be based on a methodology that distills the essential structural elements from any project and systematically maps those elements onto the requirements of the code to verify compliance. When any portion of the design does not meet the requirements of the code, the plan reviewer must be prepared not only to identify the deficiency but also to communicate that deficiency in a clear and enforceable manner. The necessity for a plan reviewer to have a solid grasp of both the material provisions and the intent of the code cannot be overstated. Equally important is the development of a structured strategy that allows the reviewer to unpack a project into distinct components that can be evaluated independently and then reviewed contextually as part of an integrated structural system. This course goes a step further by demonstrating how to prepare effective plan review comments, which represent one of the most valuable and often overlooked skills in the plan review process. Writing effective comments is not simply a clerical task. It is a professional responsibility that directly influences the clarity, efficiency, and success of the review cycle. Plan review comments must be unambiguous and concise while still providing sufficient information to allow the designer to understand the basis and intent of the comment. Comments that lack clarity or precision are often misunderstood, leading to delays, repeated submittals, and unnecessary frustration for both the reviewer and the designer. For this reason, the methodology presented in this course treats comment writing as an integral component of the plan review process rather than an administrative afterthought. Each identified deficiency is paired with carefully structured commentary that reflects both the technical requirement of the code and the professional responsibility of the reviewer to communicate expectations clearly. Whether you are seeking to strengthen your professional review skills, improve the consistency and clarity of your plan reviews, or develop a disciplined methodology for evaluating structural drawings, this course provides the knowledge and tools necessary to help you succeed. Your journey to mastering conventional floor and deck framing plan review begins here. Join us at www.praxispca.com.